Man, do we have a fight for you today. First up, well, you gotta fire up your 80s music, get your workout montage going, because we got Thor, the God of Thunder, strongest Avenger, one of the strongest heroes in all the MCU, a 1,000-year-old warrior who now just always loves cracking a good joke. And who's he going up against? Well, it's none other than Superman, the Man of Steel, the Last Son of Krypton, the forgotten player in the DCEU. Because I guess we would rather see, I don't know, the flash of a mental breakdown or a Booster Gold and Metal Men movie? I can't really explain that one, but now, fingers crossed, Superman is finally coming back. So, if these two heroes ever crossed paths, decided to come to blows, who'd be coming out on top here? Who'd win this fight? Well, today that's what we're going to figure out. We're going to talk about who's stronger, who's got better powers, which one is more impressive, surviving a nuclear bomb or a star? Most importantly, who'd win? Let's get into it.
What a classic Thor adventure. Hurrah!
And if you want to see more videos like this one, well, be sure to subscribe. Turn on those notifications while you're at it.
God knows I don't ask you for much. Now come on, please, Jerry, I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
So let's start out with talking about Superman. Krypton is dying, and no one really wants to admit it. Well, no one except Jor-El and Lara. They're the only ones that seem to have any clue what's going on, and their only goal from then on is to save their son Kal-El. So they built a baby-sized spaceship and just launched him out into outer space, sent him hurtling towards Earth. I don't know why they didn't decide to build a rocket big enough for all three of them, but I guess they figured they would just kill themselves and their alien son was better off being raised by some random strangers in the middle of Kansas. They really lucked out too, because Kal landed on Jonathan and Martha Kent's front yard. And so instead of becoming a tyrannical dictator with godlike powers, he became Clark Kent, Superman, the world's greatest hero. Thanks to being exposed to a yellow sun, Superman, like all Kryptonians, gained godlike powers. Like, literally godlike. He's the most powerful member of the Justice League. He's easily more powerful than Wonder Woman. He's even on par with Hot Boy Zeus over here. And one of his chief powers is super strength. And Clark has done a whole lot of impressive stuff. He's definitely put those muscles to good use. But his best showing was shifting a whole tectonic plate in order to prevent an earthquake. And even though this happened off screen, and all we have to base it on is a newspaper article, why not include it? I mean, it's really not that crazy. Thor is literally doing stuff like this, and we've seen other Supermen do similar things. And in order to do something like this, to shift a tectonic plate, well, it would require 10 teratons of force and energy, or country-level strength, meaning that you could destroy a country with a punch, if a country was small enough where you could destroy it with a punch. So some crazy strength. And all that translates over to how Superman throws a hit, too. I mean, just look at the clashes between him and General Zod, and all the destruction that caused. Look at how he was able to send Doomsday flying up into outer space, or just send him sailing. And then look at how he destroyed Steppenwolf. Steps is pretty tough, too. He's fought against his own Doomsday in the past, and even destroyed a moon in their fight. He survived the destruction of a moon. Couldn't stand up against Superman and his punches. And here's the thing, Superman isn't just crazy strong. He's not just able to throw a mean punch, but like the best fighters out there, he can definitely take a punch too. Like, look at his fight against Doomsday. This monster's sole purpose was to kill Superman. He saw one statue of the big guy and he was done. It was all over from that point. He was gonna kill him. And at the beginning of the fight, Superman is actually doing really well. gets him out of Metropolis, gets him out of the city, gets him up into outer space. And of course, that's when the military decided to launch a nuclear missile at his face. Probably not the best idea, especially in hindsight. But here's the thing, while Superman was injured, he took the blast. He took a nuclear bomb to the face. It was right back in the fight just a few moments later. It's even possible that Superman was weakened from the kryptonite from Batman earlier on in the night. So if that wasn't in play, then he might have just taken that nuclear bomb no problem. And that's not really the only time Superman has taken an attack on that just astronomical level, because there's also the World Engine. The World Engine is a Kryptonian terraforming machine used specifically to convert a planet's atmosphere and the literal composition of the world itself to become more like Krypton, making it so that Kryptonians can easily move on in there and colonize the place. Just the World Engine landing down was enough to completely annihilate a mountain. So that already means that it's made out of something that could withstand a mountain-destroying impact. And then not only did Superman destroy it, well, he did it while weakened and standing under a gravity beam that was single-handedly terraforming the Earth. And I mean, yeah, it was a slow burn, but this was gravity that was altering and changing the entire planet itself. Superman was at ground zero. He was taking all of that force, all of that power, and it was actually overpowering it and flying through it. That's crazy. But here's the thing, Superman isn't just strong, and he isn't just tough. No, those aren't the only two things he has going for him. He actually got a whole bunch of powers, like his freeze breath, or his hypersonic scream, or his heat vision. Oh man, his heat vision. He's able to slice clean through metal and blow stuff up. And we used to believe that he could reach temperatures as hot as 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But now, well, Superman's heat vision might actually be way hotter, way more powerful. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, we learned that Kryptonian metal could withstand its core being superheated to 3.5 million Kelvin. No problem. Which is absolutely no laughing matter. The center of our sun is only 1.1 million Kelvin. And yet, here's Superman consistently burning and cutting through Kryptonian metal. Thor might have taken a star to the face, but looks like Superman's heat vision might even be 3 times hotter. Wow, look at the Man of Steel.
Stay down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already. You're big. Fought bigger.
Thor, the God of Thunder, King of Asgard, founding Avenger, beautiful hair and bulging biceps.
I am the God of Thunder!
Wow. He grew up in the palaces of Asgard as royalty, becoming a pompous and arrogant prince, loved a good fight, and would seek out violence without thinking anything through. And he ended up accidentally nearly restarting an ancient war between Asgard and Jotunheim. Not a great look. Thor was denied the right to become king. He was stripped of his power and lost his hammer Mjolnir and banished to Earth. There he'd have to learn to become worthy once more, and from there really relearn what worthiness means altogether. Being a literal god, having that divine alien blood just coursing through his veins.
What do you think is coursing through my veins right now?
Cheese whiz?
Well, Thor obviously has some godly powers. He's crazy, crazy strong. I mean, let's talk about this. The time where Thor restarted the forge on Nidavellir. So in order to do this, Thor takes rockets in his little space pod and just starts spinning, and spinning, and spinning and spinning, and then he throws it, just like he used to throw Mjolnir. And when he hits the edge of the ring, well, he's stopped. The pod is still pulling, though, and so that means by Newton's third law that Thor is having to exert the same amount of force to make sure that he doesn't get pulled off.
Pull me off the...
Oh my god, Emma pulled you off.
So while the pod technically moved the rings, Thor countered it by exerting the same amount of force, meaning that Thor moved the same weight. And just how big is Nidavellir? How big are these rings? Massive! Nidavellir is the same size as a small moon. That comes from the Greg Steele, the VFX supervisor for this scene. He's the guy who designed Nidavellir. So yeah, I think he knows what he's talking about when he says how big it is. Thor is strong enough to move a small moon. And we can still see all that strength when he throws a punch or when he starts swinging Stormbreaker around. I mean, let's just take a look at stuff like destroying the Rainbow Bridge and destroying Sokovia. Thor was cracking and shattering apart the Rainbow Bridge with some truly just devastating hits. Hits that were making the Bifrost Observatory feel like an earthquake, actually shaking all of Asgard. That's insanely impressive. Then there's Sokovia, and while Thor just annihilated that city, releasing a multi-city block shockwave with one hit. He neutralized Sokovia's kinetic energy and countered it, and all in all, this just comes out to a city-level feat, which I mean, does make sense. Thor was literally destroying a whole city with one hit. And Thor isn't just out here destroying cities or moving small moons. He's not all just big, huge muscles.
That's power. The brain is a muscle, and that's a muscle, and that's a muscle. They are all muscles, this is all muscle.
He can take a whole lot of attacks too. Like, a whole lot of attacks. Like Nidavellir. Probably the most impressive thing any hero has done in the MCU so far. So what exactly is going on here?
You understand, boy? You're about to take the full force of a star. It'll kill you.
Well, Nidavellir is actually a neutron star, which has a quarter of the sun's luminosity. But here's the thing, you can't say that Thor was taking all of the star's power. He was actually just taking all the energy that was hitting him directly. He was also only withstanding it for a little while, roughly 47 seconds, before he collapsed and was knocked out and was sent flying away. So what's all this mean? Well, track with me here. The largest nuclear bomb ever detonated was a 50 megaton explosion, or 50 million tons of TNT. Thor taking the neutron star is equivalent to him surviving the largest man-made nuclear explosion every 100th of a second for 47 seconds straight, or surviving this explosion for 4,000 times, back to back to back to back to back, just over and over and over again. That's what Thor did here, which is just absolutely insane. However, he was knocked out. He clearly has his limits, even within this absolutely crazy showing. But it's also Thor on his very, very best day. I mean, the Russo brothers have said before that the only reason that Thor survived the neutron star was because he was that determined to kill Thanos. Normally, he couldn't survive as well against something like that. But if that's his upper limits, if that's Thor at his absolute best, well then his absolute best is truly insane. Kinda puts Superman's one nuclear bomb to shame. And it doesn't just stop there. It's not just strength and durability. Thor has plenty of other powers too, just like Superman. I mean, like his lightning, it can kill Chitauri Leviathans, it can help melt vibranium. He can throw lightning out absolutely all around him send Hulk flying, send Thanos flying, and all this is just really scratching the surface. I mean, the guy is creating massive storms all around him in an instant. But it's really when he combines his lightning and Mjolnir or Stormbreaker. That's when he's at his absolute best. And when he does that, well, the dude almost took out all of Jotunheim. Seriously, I'm not kidding. It was shaking the whole planet, cracking the ice layer of the ice world, and formed a giant canyon that dropped out to the depths of space. And it's not just that, because Thor actually created a canyon that was roughly 100 times the size of the Grand Canyon, the grandest of all canyons. The director even said that Thor had broke the floor of the planet apart with just one hit, with just one lightning blast.
The damage that Thor has done, which is essentially breaking the very floor of the planet up.
That's not even the strongest lightning bolt that Thor has ever created. Nah, he saved that one specifically for his sister. I mean, it completely consumed the palace, which is already like the same size as mountains. So pretty freaking impressive.
Let's kill him properly this time.
I'll take you in without breaking you, which is more than you deserve.
So, who wins here? How is this fight gonna play out? Well, strength-wise, durability-wise, they're really pretty similar. I think I might give Thor the slight edge in both those categories. Pushing a moon is more impressive than pushing a tectonic plate, and taking a neutron star is more impressive than taking a nuclear bomb. But Superman definitely isn't far behind at all. In fact, you could argue for Superman here by pointing to just how he annihilated Steppenwolf. Steps was a part of that moon-busting fight alongside a different version of Doomsday. And Superman just flat out embarrassed him. You can't underestimate Clark here. That being said, I also like Thor's powers more than Superman's. Kal definitely has the most powerful attack out of the bunch. 3.5 million Kelvin heat vision is seriously insane, and Thor's 30,000 Kelvin lightning can't even remotely compare. But Thor just has so much more versatility with how he uses his lightning, while all Superman can do is just shoot 2 beams out of his head. Plus, there's Stormbreaker, and don't act like that can't injure Superman. I mean, it straight up decapitated Thanos. It impaled a healthy Thanos right in the chest. And Thanos is super tough too. Like tough enough to snap the Infinity Gauntlet twice. And we all saw what that thing did to Hulk. And then of course this is a fight, and it takes skill to fight, which is something that Thor has a whole heck of a lot more of. I mean, we're talking about a fierce warrior who's been out there fighting and pillaging and battling for thousands of years. He's definitely going to pick up some skills along the way. I mean, maybe not skilled like Captain America or Batman or Daredevil, because he is still a god. He doesn't necessarily need skill, but he's able to plow through the shield agents, beat up some Asgardian warriors, then fight against Hela, who can solo a whole army. He's definitely more skilled than Superman.
Where did you train? On a farm?
But I think the real kicker here is speed. And you knew this was coming if you know anything about this fight. It's kind of the crux of all of this. And Thor isn't necessarily slow. In fact, you can see that he's just as fast as the lightning he's throwing around. He can travel around and move at lightning speed. And so yeah, he's not what you might call slow. But compared to Superman, Thor is straight up a statue. I mean, look at Wonder Woman. She's crazy fast. She's able to dodge bullets, deflect automatic gunfire, she can straight up lasso and catch lightning. So she should be just as fast as Thor, if not faster. And Superman had her literally frozen in slow motion. He was able to instantly blitz her. You can't tell me that he can't do the same thing to Thor. Look at Steppenwolf. He was able to fight against Wonder Woman and all her lightning speed, so she'll be on par with Thor too. And Superman just made him look silly. Superman was so fast that Steppenwolf literally didn't land a single hit on Clark. And I think that's all there is to it. Thor might be a little bit stronger. He might be a little bit tougher. He might have a god-killing weapon and all the lightning powers he can handle. But if he can't land a hit on Superman, then what's the point here? What's Thor gonna be able to do? Nothing. He can't do anything. The fight would go the same way that it did with Steppenwolf. And Steppenwolf isn't like a joke. He was able to fight against all the Justice League and beat up on all of them and be holding his own. He fought against a Doomsday before, and they destroyed a moon in the fight. You could honestly put him on a Thanos level tier, a Hela level tier, a Gore level tier. He's in that realm of discussion. And Superman just destroys him with his speed. Superman can fly in there at super speed, hit Thor with his tectonic shifting punches, fire out heat vision 3 times hotter than the sun, and just beat him up and down. Thor, we love you. We love your jokes, we love your hammers, we love your goats. But you can't win here. You just can't. Clark is gonna take this one. Superman wins.
Not impressed.
But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. And if you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You'll get to see more videos like this one every single week. And I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.